Here's another curated recipe from Mon Dessert, mini panettone. Panettone is a classic Italian sweetbread often enjoyed at Christmas time. These sumptuous mini versions can be made with traditional fruit and nuts or with a decadent twist of chocolate. If you're using fruit, in a small bowl mix together the raisins, candied orange peel, rum and 10 millilitres of boiling water, and then cover with a plate. In the bowl of a stand mixer or a large bowl, add 65 millilitres of warm water and sprinkle in the dried yeast packet. Let it sit and bubble for 5 minutes. To the yeast mixture, add approximately a third of the 125 gram flour sachet and mix with a spoon. It should be the consistency of thick cake batter. Cover the bowl and let it rise for 30 minutes. The sponge should expand. Once the sponge has risen, transfer the bowl to a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment. Set it on a medium speed and add 2 eggs to the sponge one at a time. Continue at medium speed and add the sugar sachet and the orange zest if you're going to use it. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can of course use a wooden spoon. Drop the mixer to low speed and gradually add the flour and salt and mix for about 2 minutes or until it's blended. Keep the smaller sachet aside for kneading and dusting as required. Switch to the dough hook. Knead on low speed for 8 minutes or until the dough is very smooth and elastic. With the mixer on low speed, gradually add the butter until it's incorporated. Continue to mix with the dough hook for 3 minutes until the dough is silky and shiny. You can of course do this by hand. You'll need to keep kneading for an extra 5 minutes if you're doing this by hand and use flour from the small sachet. Cover your dough with a clean damp tea towel and leave in a warm place for at least 1 hour. You can leave overnight in the fridge and a long proof makes a soft dough. Place your panettone moulds on a baking sheet and drain the fruit if you are using it. Turn out the dough onto a floured workspace and roll it into a flat rectangle that's approximately 15 by 20 centimetres. You don't need to be exact. Spread your drained fruit and almonds evenly over the top, and if you're using chocolate, sprinkle your chocolate chips. With a rolling pin, roll forcefully over the fruit and nuts or chocolate and embed them into the dough. Fold the long sides of the dough into thirds like a letter. You will end up with a rectangle, so fold that in half and pat to a thickness of about 4 centimetres. Cut into 6 equal pieces. Preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius. Form a little ball with each of your pieces of dough and place seam side down inside each panettone mould. Cover again with a clean damp tea towel and let it rise for 30 minutes in a warm place. When the dough has risen, use a sharp serrated knife to cut a shallow cross from edge to edge on each piece of dough. You are scoring the surface rather than cutting it deeply, and place half a teaspoon of butter in the centre of each piece of dough. Turn the oven down to 160 degrees Celsius and bake the panettone for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, place a piece of oil loosely over the top to keep it from browning too much and continue to bake for 20 more minutes or until golden brown. Remove them from the oven and let them cool completely in their paper moulds. Finish off with a sprinkling of icing sugar. Enjoy!